Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 3. So in exactly a week from when I am actually going to be uploading this video, The Flash will finally be back from its 4-week break, which of course is pretty damn awesome. We will be returning with episode 19, which is otherwise entitled The Once and Future Flash, where we will see Barry Allen go to the future, the year 2024 to be exact, where he will be trying to uncover more information on the mystery and dangers surrounding Savitar. Now, this last week of the break could be an absolute killer for us, but yesterday, from when this video will go up, the CW actually released the promo images for episode 19, which are pretty basic. They do give us a clearer look at events and people we saw in the trailers, but they also reveal some other details which are quite interesting. The first couple of photos we have to look at involve the villains that Barry will have to deal with in 2024, and they are obviously Top and Mera Master. The first picture is just of Top, who is in the alley that Barry pops out into when he first arrives in 2024. I really do like her costume design for this episode. It looks like futuristic fashion, even though this episode only takes place, 7 years into the future. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think she has like yellow and green nail polish on in like a checkered pattern. This would obviously be a reference to the yellow and green costume that Top wears in the comics. I will leave the photos linked in the description below if you want to have a better look, because in the video you can't zoom in, but on the actual photos, if I link them, you'll be able to zoom in and get a better look at everything, So they will be linked in the description below if you want to go check them out after you watch this video. The next picture is of both Mera Master and Top, once again in that alley that Barry pops out into. You can see they are looking down upon someone, most likely, actually, certainly Barry. The thing a lot of you would have noticed in both the trailers and this photo as well is what Mera Master is actually wearing. It's a nice tailored suit like he was wearing earlier on this season. The reason I bring this up is because a decent amount of people were annoyed he wasn't wearing what he wears in the comics. But seriously, come on, he would look utterly ridiculous if he wore this. We could see something in this episode which could reference his comic book self's outfit, but as a permanent look for him, I would give it a pass. They could have a shot of him in prison, maybe he's wearing an orange jumpsuit, which sort of looks like his Mera Master outfit, but in regards to him wearing it as his villainous outfit, I would, definitely give it a pass. They did give Top a yellow and green outfit earlier this season, which I thought was a nice nod to the comics though. I do like how they swapped Top's gender and made Top and Mera Master the, Bonnie and Clyde of the show. I thought it was a smart move. If you didn't know, Top in the comics is a male. They swapped the gender, made her a female, so they can make Mera Master and Top that villainous couple, if you want to call them that. The next image is just Barry standing there being, the Flash. Obviously looking at Mera Master and Top and thinking to himself, Jesus Christ, even in the future I have to deal with these two? Barry will have two altercations with Mera Master and Top in this episode, as we see in the trailer. This initial one when he first gets to 2024, and one later on in the episode, most likely as he is about to go back to 2017. But speaking of 2024, the next image gives us the exact time that he is in fact travelling to, most likely. And that image is of our mate Barry here holding a page from a newspaper. While we can't see anything amazing in regards to a news story apart from something to do with Opal City, we can however see the date on this newspaper, which you would have to think is the date that Barry arrives in. You never know, it could be from the day before, but let's just go for it being that it's the day that Barry gets there. Now this date on the newspaper is the 3rd of February 2024. This is a pretty random date to travel to. The episode is airing on April 25. Now on April 25th, 2024, that is the date in which that newspaper article is released. That's in the time vault, which involves Barry fighting the Reverse Flash and vanishing. So the writers and producers obviously wanted to avoid getting mixed up around that event, so just stick clear from it by a couple of months. So I can understand why they have chosen early February to travel to instead of the end of April. But then it makes you think, oh, maybe they should have just gone to 2023 or something. But maybe something happens in 2024, early, in January or something, which affects what happens here. I don't know. But yeah, you would have to think it would get explained this episode. The next few photos that are going to show up on screen aren't really promo images. They're really behind the scenes set photos of this episode, which highlight the director of the episode, which is Tom Cavanagh, aka Harrison Wells, aka Harry Wells, aka H.R. Wells. The majority of the photos that were actually released in this promo image drop are of the behind the scenes stuff with Tom Cavanagh, which means that they either wanted to really hammer home that he directed this episode, or they didn't want to reveal too much of what actually goes on within the episode, so they filled all the space of these promo images and stuff with the behind the scenes pictures instead, and really just showed us stuff that we'd seen in the trailers, apart from the last 3 images, which we'll talk about obviously in a bit. The last behind the scenes picture we see is of Barry and Cisco in the future setting, which leads to this image of Barry in 2024 with the future version of Cisco around Star Labs. My guess is that Cisco is who Barry first runs into when it comes to members of Team Flash in 2024, which then leads on to him finding other members, including his future self. I think this will be very interesting. It wouldn't surprise me if Cisco is really like the explainer of what's going on. I'm not expecting him to be in the episode too much. I think it's going to be Barry just going from one future person from Team Flash to the next, finding information about what either happened to other members or what happened to that specific person, because we did see Wally in the trailer, so yeah, he's going to be visiting a few different people. And the last 3 images we're going to go over are of Barry going to a cemetery to mourn, and this is where he will encounter Old Man Joe, the Joe West of 2024. They are obviously at the grave of Iris West, even though I did see some people saying it could be Cecile, Joe's girlfriend, or someone else, but come on, it's obviously the grave of Iris. This will most likely be an emotional scene in this episode. Like, I'm not certain on whether present Barry will actually interact with future Joe. Like, he might just sit in the background, hide behind a tree, and just watch Joe visit the grave and say some words. But as I said, we will most likely hear some lines from Joe, which may give Barry some information he needs, or maybe lead him to maybe finding another character. Now, we can see that Joe is wearing this shit. Now, you can see what Joe is wearing. It doesn't look too, out of the normal, but he's white shirt. I've gone full on detective mode on this picture, I'm sorry, but his shirt is all tattered, so he's obviously not in the best state. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not a cop anymore, if he retired from that, maybe he's doing something else, maybe similar to Flashpoint, in Flashpoint how him and Iris went on the best, standing point, if you want to call it that, and with Wally as well, and he, wasn't the best cop, he was drinking a lot, not going to work. It wouldn't surprise me if something similar happened to Joe following Iris's death. So then maybe he gets kicked off the police force, or maybe he just stopped going to it as a whole, if you know what I mean. Now, the thing to understand about Joe here is that Wally is in a wheelchair. We do see that in the trailer. We don't know exactly what's wrong with Wally. We don't know if Wally's in some sort of some state, whether he can actually communicate, or whether he's got something wrong with him, which is not enabling him to communicate or walk or anything like that. And we do know of Emo Barry and Star Labs. We don't know what's exactly going on with him, but it wouldn't surprise me when Barry goes to the graveyard and he sees Joe that he actually learns of Wally, and that leads Barry to going to find Wally. So it's everything's connected, everything is a bridge to another person. But you got to realize, out of those 3 that were really, really close to Iris in regards to Wally, Barry, and Joe, Joe's probably the most normal of the 3. He's probably the one that's actually going out, not necessarily living a normal life, but he actually obviously takes the time to go to Iris's grave. So this whole thing is going to be really interesting just to see what all these different characters became after Iris's death. I did see a lot of people making the point, why would Iris's death affect not just Barry, Wally, and Joe, but everyone else? And that's a really good point. And the answer to that is because it's affecting Wally, Joe, and Barry. It just spreads like a toxic environment, if you want to call it that. And if Barry's acting the way he is, and then it triggers onto another point, it affects Cisco's life in some way, and all of that. Because you got to remember, Cisco's livelihood at the moment is just working with Star Labs, working with Team Flash. So if it affects Barry in such a massive way in which he stops being the Flash, really, what's Cisco going to do? I don't think it's necessarily going to be exactly what I've just said, but it'll be something similar to that. But thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below, what do you think is going on with all of this? What do you think is going on with Wally? Because I haven't seen a lot of people mention what they think is going on with Wally. I have heard a lot of things to the comic books and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think they will do that. I think there might be another reason. Do you think Savitar did it? And this would be a pretty interesting question. What do you think's on the front of the newspaper? Because something's got to be on there which makes Barry go, oh crap. Do you think it'd be a decently sized thing that they would reveal? I think it might be something that leads Barry to Star Labs. Maybe Star Labs is going to get demolished or something, and it's on the front of the newspaper. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you think of all of that in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys, and goodbye.